Basi Legani Tofshin Dalid Mem. Is Dalid.
Mem Dalid.
You don't say Mem Dalid because it's Shmad. You say Dalid Mem. That's why even in the writing it's written Tofshin Dalid Mem.
That's why men are told me not to.
Yeah. But that's the Jewish custom. Like they won't write Reish Ayin Hey because it's raw, they'll write page Reish Hey Ayin. Just switch things around. Okay, at the beginning of Parak Dalid, the Alter Rebbe is explaining that in Parak Gimel, he's explaining what's the Inyan of Tzivus Hashem. The Jews are called Tzivus Hashem because Melashon a soldier, because in order to elevate all the sparks of Kedusha that Hashem put into the Cheshach HaGolus, it demands Mesiras Nefesh, and that Mesiras Nefesh is to transform the level of Cheshach to Or. So he says that even though this Or Eloki, which is in Klippa, is completely concealed, that's why it's Klippa, it's in the shell, it's covered, nevertheless, through Aveda you can reveal it. Okay? So he says that's Lavata Machayas Kulam, and he explains that there's a level of Elokus coming all the way down through all the different levels of the world. So he says, V'ainu, okay, here it's 4 lines from the end of the page. But 10 lines into Eis Dalet. Hainu, Shebeperik Yud Gimel, in the 13th chapter, Basi Legani, Mevai the Friedrich Rebbe explains, the way Elokus comes down in a tremendous amount of concealment. Again, Hashem wanted a dir b'tachtenim, so he needs to create a concealment of Elokus coming down all the way down in a level of concealment. Or Perek Yudal Mevork Seyahavchi. In Perek Yudal he explains the opposite, that the revelation of Elokus shines everywhere. Because again, he explained before, if it's Ein Sof, meaning unlimited. If there's a place he's not there, so he is limited. So therefore he's B'chol Mokim. Or B'chol Mokim Shibul Nimshach. In any place where it is drawn, Gam B'Mokim Achi Tachton. Even the lowest of lowest levels, Areyu Begilu, it's revealed. In other, he explains 2 opposite things over here. From one side, Elokus comes all the way down to such an extent that it's completely concealed. Yet, because Od is Ein Sof, that means it shines all over. That means even the place where it's concealed, it's really illuminated. Like he says, Va'ata Machayas Kulam. You give life to everything. Va'ata is Lashon Neichach. When you say you, that means it's present in front of you. Right? You, when you talk to somebody, you say you, what's called second person in English. The person's in front of you. If not, you can't say you. So when a person says, Va'at, the pasuk says, we say in davening, Va'ata Machayas Kulam, you give life to everything, that means that level is revealed. Because if not, you couldn't say you, you'd have to say Hashem is Machaya everything.
But he hides it.
Va'ata dai kaloshin neicha kaloshin of direct. V'hainu, which means shachayis eloki b'shibachol anivroim, that this elokus, which is in all creations, hu begilu kol kach is so revealed, to the extent that we say ata loshin neicha ukamei shemavur, like he explains. Ha'erd eloki amachayu mahava, that this godliness that gives life to the world, Eina Mispal, is not affected by world. Veina Mishtana Cloud doesn't change from world. Like it says on Yeshem Leshanis. Umashi Yochel Yeshini Ba'er De Islapshus. But the art is limited now. When the art comes into a particular thing, it's limited based on that vessel. So how can we say the art is unaffected by his slapshus? He says, Mashiach Yeshin Ba'er Hainu Mashiach Slapsh Pearl Ezeshinu Udag Ba'chayish Bekinas Koyach. That's only in the potential. Avo Ba'orda Machayim, in the order that gives actual life, Ein Be'shum Shinib Klal. He's going to explain it now. Barichas, what does that mean? So he says, it's only the potential has changed, but not the actual revelation. And he can explain now what that means. He says, "V'yuv and zal pi hayidua binyan agimel l'sheinis." In Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says three expressions: or, chayes, v'koyach. Okay. In the Shaykh the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, there's three expressions: or, chayes, v'koyach. The Gimel, the Sheinis Eilu, these three expressions, Hem Gimel, Madreges, are three different levels. Like the Mittel, Rabbi K'meshe Mevarach, HaKol Mitzori, Brim Bina. And the Rebbe Rashab explains in Hemshech of Ayin Beis, what does it mean like this? He says, Or Chayes v'Koyach. Light, life, and power. Koyach hu nivdo mim koyre. Koyach becomes separated from the source. When a person builds a table, they get tired. Why do they get tired? Because the koyach they had now goes into the table. So you're missing the koyach. If you're missing the koyach, the strength, then you're tired. Then you have to rejuvenate it. The koyach nivda mekulocheinu b'chinas helam. Mashiach kein or v'gam chayis, but or and chayis heim devukim b'mkeidem, are connected to their source, therefore they're beginning. But it's a superficial level, not in other words, indirectly revealed, not actually revealed. Okay, it means like this. Koyach means it becomes separated. Okay, it goes into the thing. Chayes, or, like he says, is only makif level. Because infinite or cannot be limited into a finite being. So or only affects it indirectly, not directly. And chayas, the life, in order to give life, it has to be pepnimius in it. It has to become one with it in order to sustain it.
Which one is potential?
1 second. Ofi shegili v'adrege shechayas. Eina kagili v'adrege shebaor. And because chayas is not the same level of revelation of or, mikama came, eina mishtanit still doesn't change. Why? The kiven shegama chayis b'chinas gilid v'ekas b'mkaydai, because it's still connected to the source. In other words, like this: all these three things are chayis and koyach. He says, okay, koyach puts itself into the thing, right, to separate it from you. Or influences the thing in an indirect way. Chayis affects it in a direct way. But because it's still connected to its source, it's still not affected by the thing because it's connected up there. He's going to elaborate more on this. But he's saying the three expressions that the Rebbe speaks about in Tanya, the way Hashem gives sustenance to the world, he says, Or, Chayis, v'Koyach.
One is makif, one is manale.
One is, Or is Seviv, Or is Makif. Chayis comes into the previous. You can't make something live if you're not directly involved in it. But that level, even though it's involved in the thing it's addressing itself into, but it's still ani avaya l'shenisi because it's still connected to the source. So it's not bound, it's in it, but it's not bound by it. If it's in it but not bound by it, it's not affected by it.
Can anything exist without the or?
What do you mean or? Or mean the life of Hashem?
Yeah.
No. These three things are mandated, so to speak, for the world to exist. You need or, you need chayis, and you need koyach.
And you need moyer also.
But if or doesn't become perennious, that cannot exist. Or has to be.
No. Or can affect you in an indirect way, not a direct way. 1 second. Or can affect the person directly or indirectly. So the Elokus,
Without or, you don't exist. It cannot be. If the or doesn't go in.
maybe, but why? The Koyach and Chayis could come in. What does or mean? Or doesn't mean light. Or means a revelation of godliness. No, or is not Chayis. Or is a revelation of Hashem, okay, that keeps the world existing. Okay. Now, that or could be internally involved in it, or not internally involved, meaning it could affect it directly, or it could affect it indirectly. Now, the or, he's saying, this power of Hashem, see, we think or light. The revelation of Hashem affects the world, or when the level of or that we say is the level of Hashem that doesn't affect the world directly. It affects it indirectly. Chayis is the level of Elokus, that Hashem gives life to everything. That's the level of Elokus that comes into the world directly to make it directly function. But it's not changed by the world because it's not bound by the world. If you're bound by something, then you're affected by it. If you're not bound by it, then you're not affected by it. And Koyach is the level of Elokus that comes, Taka is connected to the world. But he's not done yet. Because there's a fourth level. What?
We have that in the chemistry.
You have that in chemistry?
Something absorbs AD, doesn't matter. Something absorbs goes through. Okay.
Absorbs and?
Adsorb.
Absorb.
Is something that just stays, doesn't go in. Absorb with the B and bound to it.
Yeah.
So they got that from Torah.
We're doing chemistry.
What?
Koyach manifests itself.
How's what?
Or is something that's makif.
When you put your koyach, again, let's use a simple example. You build a table. Yeah? You get tired? Why do you get tired? Because your energy, yes, went into the table. Where did your energy go? Your energy went into the table. Therefore, it's brought down in Chassidus, the Maggid saw once a table, and he said the guy that built it was blind in one eye, not because the table was crooked. He was able to see the koyach of the person that went into the, I think the Alter Rebbe said, I don't see the beam, I see the Elokus that's in the beam.
Well, all three are in the table.
No, that's koyach. Then you have or. Okay, sometimes you mix two things together, right? I don't know why this is coming to my head. You have a soup, and you put in salt or pepper, let's say, right? Now that mixes together. It becomes one. The salt affects the the soup, and the soup affects the salt. Correct? But then you can have, like, you put the peanut butter on bread. Stupid much. But you put, like, the peanut butter on bread, yeah? So but the bread doesn't change the bread, and the bread doesn't change it. They're still separate entities. But they're connected. Or, is that level of course, Chayis is the level that becomes mamish mix. But because in Elokus it's not bound to it, so therefore it doesn't change it. But it affects it directly. And Od is only indirectly affecting it. It's not too easy to understand, but anyway, we need to understand. There's a fourth level. There's Or, Chayis, and Koyach, but now there's a fourth level that's called name. Like we're learning, right? It's a Baal Shem Tov Shuvah b'Shayich v'Amunah. Like it's known, what Alter Rebbe brings down from the Baal Shem Tov b'Shayich v'Amunah, Sh'Hashem is Shokol HaNivroim Sheba'olam, the names Remember, we learned what was the greatness of Adam Rishon, that he was able to name all the animals of the world, because he saw the chayis, which are the letters of the name, that are in the object giving it existence, which is Hein Eis Yisadibur, Hamishtalshus Me'asad Maamar Shebetera, which is the letters of the alphabets of Torah. Shaydei Chaluf Mitmures, through exchanging of the letters, acronyms of the letters, and so on. In other words, like this. In Shai Yechor Amunah, the Alter Rebbe explains, the name of everything is its existence. Right? That means, if something, like Adam Rishon called animals, when he called sus, a horse, he says samach vav samach. Right? That means, the chayis eloki, the godly life, that comes into the horse, is connected to the letters. It goes through the letters samach vav samach, because each letter is a different type of revelation of Elokus. And then you have the combination of the different letters, and not only the combination of them, you have the order of the letters. That you can have two things, but different order of the letters. You can have chamor and you can have chomed. It's the same letters. Whatever. But then, so you have, that level is what comes into the creation and gives it the life. So that's the fourth level of giving existence to the world, and that's called Shem. And he says, when it came to Adam Rishon naming, whatever the name he gave it is its name, Shem is Shakara Adam Rishon L'chol HaNivroim. But the Medrash says, Adam Rishon said, this animal is nice to call ox. This animal is called sus. Based on what Chazal tell us, the Kriyas Hashem Shal Adam Rishon, that the naming of, like we said before, the other night, when Adam Rishon was created, right, the Malachim came and said, who's this, like we said, new kid on the block? So Hashem answered the Malachim, Chachmasei merubah michachmaschem. Adam Rishon is smarter than you. So he said, like, prove it, So he brought all the animals, the Medrash says, to the Malachim to name, and they couldn't. Brought him to Adam Rishon, and he was able to name it. How would Hashem prove through that Adam Rishon's Chachma is greater than theirs? They could name it, and Adam Rishon could. He says, that was Ha'irah al Godel Chachmasi, how great Chachma Adam Rishon had. Okay? Why was he smarter? What more Chachma? Is this that Adam Rishon called names to all the animals? He understood what is the source of axe, the letter Shin Vav Resh. What is the source of Chamor, Ches Mem Vav Resh. He was able to see and understand the chayes of everything of creation. He was able to name it based on that. The same thing with name of a person. Not only the mankind is called Adam, even the detailed names, like we're learning, we're learning about names. The name of the person is the chayes of that person. So here we have another level of something which is making us something exist. Not only or, not only chayes, not only koyach, but also shem. He says, not only that, not only about shem amin v'gam shemuish. Even the Goyish names.
For something to exist, they should have all these four levels, one way or another. Some zero, some more.
You have to have all four.
You have to have all four, right?
One second. Kamesha Metzina Besifrei, now the Alter Rebbe, remember in Basi Legani, he quotes all the Rebbes, he quoted now the Mittler Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov, the Alter Rebbe, Mittler Rebbe, now he's quoting his father, Bekamer Mekaimis, Shemedai Gam B'Shemesh Shebalaz, even Goyish names, he was Medayik, V'Leimid Me'amin Chadoshim, and the Rebbe writes about his father, he would be Medayik in the Goyish names of things, and he would learn lessons b'avodas Hashem, even Goyish names. Because if as shkocha pratis is in every minute detail, if a person has this Goyish name, shows there's a connection, not like the name of Lashon Kodesh, but there's still a connection between that and that. Which explains, by the way, why you probably write those not Hebrew names, even in a get. The guy's called George. Why do you have to write that in a get? You have his Hebrew name. No, so we don't write Goyish names. Nimtze shachayis lekisha b'chol hanivraim. Like it says, v'atam machayis kulam is a level of name. And he says, tzarich lahaven eich masim imam mavor behem shmei mori alul. How does this connect and coincide with the Maamorim of the Basi Legani, that it was V'atem Mechayes Kulim Koyal Ur V'chayes. The Rebbe is asking a contradiction based on what he just said. He just got through explaining that V'atem Mechayes Kulam refers to Or and Chayes. V'atem Mechayes Kulam is the Or and the Chayes. In Shayuchad V'amunah, the Alter Rebbe explaining that the Chayes, everything is the name. Proves that means the name that, like the Baal Shem Tov explained. So now there's a fourth level. So how can you say Atam Chayes Kulam means Or and Chayes, direct and indirect, when there's another level called name? And then he asks even more now. There can't. Or and shame are contradictory. Or is revelation, shame is hidden. If I hear your name, whatever it is, yeah, that doesn't show who you are. Doesn't reveal who your personality is. If your whole lifeline is the name, so then it should reveal who you are.
Rabbi, we know that when we name something, it brings up the bias and the source of that person.
Down.
Yaakov comes from Yaakov, and all the Yaakovs have some relation.
Something in common.
So now you mention in the question in John. Let's say the guy's name is John. What the hell is the light come from? Where is it?
There's still something connected to the lifeline in the Goyish name John. Because let me ask you a question. Everything in Hashgacha Pratis, everything is divine providence. There isn't a thing that isn't.
My point is that...
What's that? Well, why did that parent name the kid John?
Well, there is no source of John. I didn't think...
But he says there is. That's what the Rebbe is saying over here from his father, that there is. And therefore, you have names that there's some connection.
It's not like when you say Ev and Aleph, it's the way, the revelation of Hashem. Hashem didn't say Evan. It's the revelation of...
No, but over there, because there's no name Evan, the Alter Rebbe says, because it's not a general lifeline. The general creations, Hashem said directly in Chumash. The other ones through acronyms or shetevas, exchanging of letters and all that. No.
It's the revelation of what Hashem... When we say Bob Shama, it's not that Hashem...
Like, he brings down in 52, the Rebbe writes, his father, okay, his introduction to his Sefer writes, Ani Levi Yitzchok ben Zolder Rachel, and he wrote, Levi is Gvura, and Yitzchok is Gvura, and this is Gvura, and that's Gvura. And then he wrote, he was, in his thing, he writes, he was exiled, when the Rebbe's father was exiled, in the city of Tzili. Tzadik Yud Aleph Yud Lamed Yud. He makes the whole thing why that letters are connected to his golus in that particular city.
So why is it that he mentioned that the name doesn't reveal the person, but the light does? How does light do and the name does?
That's what he's asking. Here we're saying that it's name, but now he's going to ask that or and name are two opposites. When you look at light, yeah, you know what type of light the source is, right? You look outside during the day. You know if it's sunlight, moonlight, the electric light, well, you know, right? But the name doesn't reveal who the thing is, the source of the person. You look, see a guy's name is Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, whatever, right? You see a guy named Avram or Yitzchak or Yaakov, you know who the guy is. Not only that, you can have a nice Avram and a bad Avram. You can have a good Yitzchak and a bad Yitzchak. You can have a good Yaakov and a bad Yaakov. They're all interconnected.
All Avraham was good Rabbi.
I know that.
But the Rebbe used the Friedrich Rebbe's name to say it in Pais.
Yeah, but that's Lashon Kodesh. Here the Rebbe is saying that even Goyish names, the fact that this person has John, and this guy's name is George, and this guy's name is McDonald, whatever, yeah, shows there is something there connected to it.
Of course, otherwise they wouldn't exist. Right?
Yeah, but he's saying even the Goyish names.
Even if the name has no meaning.
Yeah.
Let's go to the original George becomes a king. I'm just saying.
Does every Avram have a connection to the original? Yeah, to a certain extent, but it's...
I can't comprehend.
What?
We were told that everything comes from Lashon HaKodesh, all the life comes down from the...
Directly, it's coming from Lashon
So
Kodesh.
Yaakov, okay, Abraham, I understand, they have the... But John and George could not have a lifeline. I know there is a name.
There is, he says.
I know he says that,
But
but
how is he alive?
why is John has anything to do with the Lashon HaKodesh?
Let me ask you a question. Every person has a lifeline.
Yeah.
Goyim also have a lifeline.
Well, it was named wrong. I was impressed. So far, I was under the impression. Yeah, the name is John, but there is some real hidden name of Russian HaKodesh there.
Not for the guy.
With the Goy
Doesn't have a Yiddish name. So guy has a Goyish name, right?
Goy does not have a lifeline. I know they
What, the guy, he exists?
But no.
One second, does he...
Not on the level of the Jew.
Not on the level, this is Kedusha. But there's a lifeline from Hashem keeping the guy alive.
Yeah, but it's not the same.
Even, as I said yesterday, Hamas is also existing from Hashem.
Yes.
Okay, now it's not coming from Kedusha, obviously.
True.
Okay, so now the name Hamas, there is a connection to that, Hamas, I don't know, but whatever. But in Mullah, it's Hamas. I'm just saying that the Rabbi is writing here that even a Goyish name, like he quotes from his father, the names, Goyish names, and
What was that Goyish name of his father?
no, not the father's name, the name of the city where he was, or the people that imprisoned him. There's a connection to those names.
What about a name that is made up name? Like has nothing to do with anybody or anything?
Every name's made up.
No, yeah, so I mean, no, but yeah.
John's not a made-up name. George is not a made-up name.
I know, but it was connected to someone that was John. Whatever,
So?
right? But what about something that has nothing to do with anything?
Like what?
Sunny. I don't know.
Sonny is a name, no?
But it's nothing, nobody's...
To be continued.